Okay, so we are going back to something that's slightly similar topic but a little bit off topic. It's pushing on from High National 5, something we should have done possibly depending on how thoroughly you went through doing this at National 5. So the first thing is we're going to be using the discriminant to find coefficients in our quadratics. So first thing is to remember what a quadratic is. So a quadratic is where we have ax squared plus bx plus c when x does not equal 0. Okay? And our discriminant is the b squared minus 4ac part, where b is the coefficient of x, a is the coefficient of x squared, and c is the coefficient, just the constant. Right, so this little bit, b squared minus 4ac, is really important and it can tell us a lot of things. It tells us about the roots of the equation, okay? So there are three different things that the discriminant can tell us. So if it's greater than 0, then it's telling us that we have two real and distinct roots. Okay, so this is just a quick reminder on discriminants. And what does that look like? That looks like this. So we have a parabola where it crosses the axis at two separate and very obviously separate points. Okay? Our second option is that b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0. And this means it's got real and equal roots. So we have talked a little bit about this with sketching, finding the equation of a polynomial from the sketch. And this is where it just goes down, touches, and comes back up. And this is our root. And it's just one point where it crosses the axis or touches the axis. Okay, our third one is that b squared minus 4ac is less than 0. Less than, not more than, less than 0. And this is where we have no real roots. And what does this look like? That looks like this. So it never crosses the x-axis. Okay? So that's a little bit of reminder about the discriminant and what it actually means. And it comes from the quadratic formula, which at National 5 you get given, but at higher you don't. So it's x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. If you need to use it, that's there for you. Maybe put it in our notes jotters somewhere big and prominent, and we must know this. Okay, so how is this going to help us? So how does this actually help us? So this is where we get given an equation with an unknown in it. So we have, this is an example. Okay, so we've got 3x squared plus kx plus 3 equals 0, has equal roots. What is the value of k? Okay, so to answer this question, if it has equal roots, b squared minus 4ac equals 0. Probably a point, even if you do nothing else in this question, if you get a question like this, writing down the b squared minus 4ac equals 0 bit, showing that you know that this is a discriminant question, and what the equal roots bit means will get you something. Right, so we've got that a is 3, b is k, and c is 3. So we're going to have k squared minus 4 times 3 times 3 equals 0. So k squared minus 4 times 9 is 36 equals 0. Okay, so we get k squared equals 36. And here is where something comes in that I'm not totally sure we'll have seen before. which is when we take the square root, it's plus or minus. So the square root of 36 is 6, because in this case either 6 or minus 6 when we square it would give us 36. So we have two different values of k that would work in this situation to give us equal roots, and these would be symmetrical about the axis. Okay, right, so that's one example of how this can be done. Another one would be we could be asked if something has real roots. Then in this case, so for that same question, we could be asked what if it has real and distinct roots. Okay, so that means that we want b squared minus 4ac to be greater than 0. Okay, so then we put this in here, so we're going to get k squared minus, this bit's not going to change, 4, 3, and 3, but it's got to be greater than 0. So that means that k squared minus 36 has got to be greater than 0. So k squared has got to be greater than 36. But this is where things become a little bit more confusing. So it doesn't quite work like this anymore. So k squared minus 36, what if we plot that equal to 0? Are we going to get? Well, we are going to get a graph that looks like this. Because k squared is just a graph at 0, 0, and we've taken it down, and that is 36. Okay, and we're going to have roots here at 6 and at minus 6. Okay, because we can get k minus 6, k plus 6. So we're looking now for the discriminant at the graph. So we're looking at what values of that function are greater than 0. And that is when x is greater than 6 or x is less than minus 6. Okay, so therefore x has got to be greater than 6, and it's not x, it's k. Or k is less than minus 6. Right, okay, I know the second type is confusing, so I'm going to do another example. Don't worry. Right, so this time we're going to have x squared plus kx minus k equals 0 has real roots. Find k. Okay, or the range of values for k. So, we again, for this, b squared minus 4ac for real roots, then it's got to be greater than or equal to 0. Because it could be equal to 0 to have real roots, but it's got to be greater than it. So there, this time we've got a is 1, b is k, and c is minus k. Okay, so we get k squared minus 4 times 1 times minus k is greater than or equal to 0. So we've got k squared minus 4k is greater than or equal to 0. So that becomes a plus, and we can kind of factorize to give us k bracket k minus 4. Not minus 4, it becomes plus 4 is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so if we, this is the point at which we need to be good at plotting. We can plot this graph. So because we've only got two things, we've got 0 and we've got minus 4. Okay, and because it's positive, our parabola would look something like that. So we're looking for the values that are greater than or equal to 0, so therefore k has got to be greater than or equal to 0, or k has got to be less than or equal to minus 4. Okay, So because it's like this part of the graph here and this part of the graph here. It's not like this bit in here. Okay? Right, so that is us for this chapter. And we will be going on in our next video to the next chapter. If you've got any questions on this chapter, let me know. Anything at all, ask questions, it's not a problem, leave in comments. Please like and subscribe if this has been helpful for you, so I know that people are watching it and it's helping people. And thank you, and we'll be going on to solving trig equations.